Art teachers of Reddit. What's you draw anything you want story? I ran arts and craft classes at a youth group for disadvantaged kids. Decided one day to give them total freedom. I just put out all the supplies we had and let them go crazy. Kids made some really cool works of art, all very colorful and creative. I was talking to one kid when another asked me to help him spell things for his artwork. I go over to his table with him and he's been making a card for a boy in his class at school. He tells me his friend's mum had just died from cancer and he wanted to make a card for him to cheer him up, but he couldn't spell anything he wanted to write. He was 13 years old and I had to help him spell out something like, "Dear, I am so sorry about your mum, but I will always be your friend and here for you. Love." I had to help him spell his own name. He made the card totally unprompted. I feel for the guy. He was totally sweet and caring for his friend and really smart. He'd just not got the help he needed. Went home after and had a little sob. In early middle school, we did a project where we used cardboard draped in colorful paper mache to make a sound word, like wham or crinkle. I was really into knights at the time, so I made the word that was the sound of someone unsheathing a sword. That word was sklong. Ah, yes, the sound of unsheathing your sword. My brother was told to draw an animal from any angle he wanted, so he drew a dot and said it was a very far away lion. I have a design your own monster Halloween lesson. Most kids draw cute ghosts or cool vampires. One 7th grader drew a sad clown hanging by a belt from a ceiling fan. He had issues. Oh man, this reminds me of a weird childhood memory. In elementary school my mom bought this chain that hangs from the ceiling with clips on it to hang stuffed animals from. Super cool idea. Until one night I saw the shadow that it cast on my wall from the street light happened to look like a fat clown had hung itself. I had to explain the next morning why my response was to rip the entire chain out of my ceiling instead of rearranging things. Didn't get in trouble though. I got in trouble once for drawing a pooping butt. Little did my teacher know, but the drawing was actually a poorly drawn butterfly that ended up looking like a hairy pooping butt, and when asked why I put the details I did, like the legs and antenna and proboscidea coming off the segmented body, I said I dunno, don't they all look like that? I saw one at recess and thought it was pretty and wanted to draw it. Thinking of the butterfly, of course. Nope. I ended up having to see the school counselor. Haha, this reminded me of something I did that I completely forgot about. I was sitting with my friends, probably 4th grade. I thought it would be funny to draw someone pooping. It was a stick figure, with a banana-shaped turd dangling from the butt. My friends were joking about poop. I thought we would all laugh, but instead they told on me. I got in trouble from the teacher, and then after school had to go to my dad's work to get disciplined. Both my mom and dad asked me why I would draw something like that. I shrugged my shoulders and said I didn't know. Looking back, that drawing looked more like a dick than a banana turd. I bet that's why I was in so much trouble. My mom and parents were probably trying to figure out why their little girl was drawing a dick. Oopsies. High school 1977. Not a teacher. While everyone else was drawing Pink Floyd rainbows and peace signs all over everything, the biggest burnout in the class made a wide metal bracelet with intricate triangular designs cut out of it. He turned it in and got a great grade for the first project he ever bothered finishing and some well-deserved praise for his effort. Teacher handed our work back and first thing he did was grab a pair of pliers and bent all the triangles outward, making it a thick metal spiked bracelet. I found that devilishly, disturbingly clever. A lone punk rocker in a sea of hippies. One kid had to have a meeting with the principal, her parents and the art teacher because the art teacher decided that because this 2nd grade girl only drew people without hands, the little girl felt powerless. All these adults question this child about the meaning of her drawings. She tells them, hands are too hard to draw. I wanna see this art teacher's psychotherapy degree. Former student here. We were supposed to do a bit of abstract artwork for a course assignment. My work was a framed square cut out from an old t-shirt I had previously used to help restain an old table. Not only did I get an A on the assignment, but I entered it into a silent auction later that semester and someone bought it. Also former student. 10th grade art teacher told us to draw the city 50 years from now. I drew flying buildings and she threw it back at me because flying buildings are impossible. When I was in the 7th grade, our art teacher had us do whatever we wanted to be entered in the school art fair. I was really lazy and decided to just use every color of pastel that was available to draw a rainbow of sorts on a piece of construction paper. Then I tore it all into pieces and glued them all together again randomly. I called the piece Life and argued that it was supposed to represent the chaos and uncertainty that is life. It ended up winning first place in my grades part of the art fair and I ended up getting a cool art set. But really it was just me being lazy and feeding some bullshit about a deeper meaning. That's pretty ironic. For all the people that spend countless hours planning their project and then poured their hearts and souls into it, their parents told them it was the best art project they had ever seen. And then life serves up as it always does and the person who didn't care and was lazy about it wins. Nice. Parent here, not an art teacher. In kindergarten, my son came home with a packet of finished assignments he got back from the teacher. One was a paper having them draw a body part with the prompt "Here are my." Example given was feet. What did my kid draw? Butt cheeks. Drawing of the back of a person with two giant, well drawn, I might add, cheeks. My husband and I laughed our own butt cheeks off when we saw it. We kept the paper for posteriority. I laughed at the posteriority joke. Clever. When I was in 2nd grade our teacher told us to doodle on the back of a quiz if we finished early. I decided to draw a house high in the sky with a long staircase leading to it. To emphasize its height I drew clouds but it needed more. I decided to add in an airplane. Later my teacher called me to her desk and I got in trouble because the plane looked like it was heading towards the house and this was right after 9/11 happened. Still have no idea what I was thinking. I was in elementary school during the O.J. Simpson trial. I drew the crime scene complete with bodies, handgun, bloody bathroom and a white Bronco in the driveway. I'm a girl so I added butterflies and sparkles. Not a teacher, but when I was in 7th grade I drew a picture in my art class sketchbook of Barney and Elmo smoking pot and drinking booze, drawn with colored pencils and all. I showed it to my friends and they thought it was the funniest thing they'd ever seen. The art teacher, however, was not pleased and sent me to the principal's office. The principal then looked through my sketchbook and ripped out all the drawings she deemed as inappropriate. It shattered my soul that day and I cried for some time afterwards. In fact I think that's what ended my dream of becoming an artist. F you, MRS, Bano and MRS, McKeon, for robbing me of a better future. You can still be an artist now. The internet would love you. Particular brand of social commentary. When I was in high school, part of the final exams assessments in art class involved picking an object of your choice, based on a written passage, and painting it as best you can. My art teacher told us about one kid who chose a book as his object. He turned up with an art book with a professional still life painting on the cover and proceeded to recreate the painting stroke by stroke. There were phone calls made to his parents and to the Board of Education over it, but the kid got away with it in the end. I assume there were some changes to the rules after that. I just remembered a poor little guy who drew a self-portrait. He drew with meticulous detail and when it came down to drawing his pants he drew the zipper so carefully but it looked like a penis. I was flummoxed about how to tell him that people might see something there that he didn't intend. Whenever I got to draw something on my own I just drew effing cake. How did the cakes F? Science teacher, please draw a habitat of a predator. Me. Draws white van. Did it have candy though? Do they ever really have candy? Student here. My art teacher was somewhat crazy. She let us draw anything we want and to get 100% all you had to do was tell her it had a deep connection to the earth or some other nonsense. I drew a jellyfish and told her it represented wisdom because it was immortal. I like to imagine one day she will just see a documentary on jellyfish and learn that they can't really learn or have wisdom and just have this epiphany. That kid was just making sharp. IDK. When I was small I remember we had to draw a popular myth in the country, so it's a little bit weird now to think that when I was younger I drew some Shinbonita demon thing and kawaii anime style. Oni I-chan. There's no way my Oni can be this cute. Not an art teacher, but for 1 year I was a preschool teacher a few years back. It was like a Friday at 4 PM in the winter. I gave the kids some time to color or draw whatever they wanted. 10 minutes go by and one of my students, 4 at the time, who I had a hate-love relationship with because he caused a lot of behaviors but could be a sweet kid when wanted to, came up to me and said, "Look miss, I made a drawing for you." I gave a warm smile and asked him to show it to me. It was a drawing of his parents doing the nasty. He even got the penis part right with balls and everything. Totally shocked but remained as neutral as possible because I knew if I had reacted in a major way he would have continued to make more drawings like this. This is something I learned about him. So I said, let's put that in your backpack and we can show mommy when she picks you up. Dad comes that day. More embarrassing for me. I told him about the drawing and he turned bright red explaining the other night he had walked in on them having sex. We awkwardly laughed about it and that was that.